Hi, I'm Marianne Kinsell from the RWTA. Here we are in November 2021, moving fast into the most intense time for the temperature-controlled industry after a most challenging 2 years in every way imaginable for our sector. What we like to do here at the RWTA is ensure that we introduce our new members and the solutions that they bring to the members of the RWTA. So in line with this, we have happily brought on a new member in recent times, Escavox, a company that tracks fresh food to provide visibility within the cold chain. I have with me today, and I'm pleased to introduce the CEO and Director of Escavox, Luke Wood. Hi, Luke.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Wonderful day. Very well. Thank you. Yourself?
Very well, thank you. Luke, I love that your product makes it clear where there are dwell time issues within the cold chain process and allows for corrective actions to be taken. Why did you start Escavox, and what did you see was lacking in the logistics process to encourage what you were doing here?
Yeah, it's a good question. We started because what we lacked was a journey, was the story about the food in the journey itself. We knew all about the trucks, we knew all about the warehouses, we knew all about the stores. We didn't know about that individual journey. And so what we did was we turned all of the information on its head and said, tell me about this trip for this particular product as it went through its journey, so that we could understand what was happening and therefore make judgments. How much shelf life was it losing? How much quality was it losing? How do we get it? How do we make better decisions through the chain? So the gap was a lot of players in the industry and the actors focus on their asset or their leg of the chain, and we wanted to understand the entire trip in terms of a quality and a movement proposition. And that was applicable whether we worked domestically here in Australia or internationally for a product that we export overseas.
Thank you. That's a good explanation of, the background, because I would have presumed that there were this product elsewhere. So what do you do differently is there anybody out there that's kind of similar? We don't have to mention who they are or otherwise, but why are you different? What makes you different?
We're different because we're talking about the data and the information that you need to make those decisions. And to do that, you need a little bit of technology. So whether that's an IoT device or whether that's readers or truck telemetry, you need some real smarts around the technology. You need to be able to translate information very quickly. You need to be able to do it automatically. And you need a commercial model that allows it to work, whether you're a producer or a carrier or a 3PL or a retailer. And so what you need to do is blend all of that together so that you can represent the food, Escavox, the voice of the food. And it's the combination of all those things tied together that makes us different to frankly anyone else in the market. So we've approached the whole process completely differently and blended all of those elements together to try and reach our conclusions.
That makes it a lot clearer, and thank you for doing that. With the feedback that you've received from companies that are already using your product, how is it going down? How is it being received?
Yeah, incredibly well. We see a really interesting curve. Most people who start typically don't have live or interactive tracking of their supply chains right now. So the first thing we see is shock. Where does my product go? How long does it take to transfer through certain states or holding points or countries? And there's just a straight fascination with the visibility. They literally see dots on maps for the first time. And that causes all of them to start asking questions. Why did it go here? Why did we send it there? Why did I send that product on that channel? And I could have done better. And now I understand why my consumer is getting a different experience. And then we start seeing them dig in. So we see this lovely curve of interest in the journey, very quickly followed by how do I start using that data now to start driving decisions, and how do I start satisfying my customer and ultimately my end consumer in the chain. So just about every customer we've had has increased their use and started to understand how important the chain is for their product rather than just their segment or silo within it.
You've said something that's come as a surprise to me, and that is that that people will sometimes look at the path that their product is taking and they go, oh, I didn't know it was going that way. Why did I do that? So Thanks for letting me know about that, because I think there are other companies out there that would probably feel the same and go, actually, do I know? Do I actually know where it's going? What do you expect the cold chain companies, the members at the present time, will gain from getting to know Escavox?
I think the same as any other user. What it does is it gives us a data point to start changing and making better decisions. And that allows outcomes to be driven. So it's a very tangibly, what it does is with raw data, if I know where it was, the temperature it was at, and how long it spent there, we can make active decisions. Well, I can allocate you faster, I can send you to a different destination. And it removes any discrepancy or argument. And what we found is the minute you have data, you remove the emotion from any conversation, and it allows you to actually affect change and drive to an outcome. So I think for participants in the chain, carriers, 3PLs, and so on, it enables a much more data-rich conversation with your customers, which allows a better outcome for the consumer. And it just changes that. It ceases to be a hidden conversation.
That in itself, I think, is probably one of the best. When you take the emotion out and it's just data, it's the real thing. This is actually what's happening. You can't argue with that, can you?
No, and it ceases what we've seen many examples of, and many clients talk about, is it removes the blame element from problems. And suddenly it becomes, oh, I didn't realize you held it here, or you transshipped it there, or I didn't cool it properly before I gave it to you, and all these different things. It removes the emotion and it removes the unknown. And now you can start solving problems. And that's the power of it, which is ultimately what we use information for. It just lets us manage our chains better because we can measure them.
Luke, if you were to give a message, a couple of lines to tell the industry about your product before we go, what would you want to let them know?
That real-time data and real-time information about the product and the food is becoming more and more essential. It affects safety, it affects quality, it affects the revenue and the margin that all the players get. It's coming, and what we've got to learn to do is how we're going to consume this information and how we're going to use it in the best way to meet our consumers and our customers' demands.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us today.